Hey, so here is what we're looking at in this video tonight. Working to be better. I'm wanting to do some things that I haven't done to accomplish some goals that I haven't accomplished. So some big goals. And so the big goal that I have out in front of me is something that's going to require all of me and something extra, something that's outside of myself. So we wrote this book. It is coming up on 1 year ago. So the idea of the book, The Affluent Negro, 7 Principles to Minority Wealth Creation. And so we wrote this book and we hit Amazon bestseller. We're still in on Amazon, the top 100 books in 6 of the major categories. So that is a feat in and of itself. But that's not where it started. So the idea is, well, how do we get to the point where we write something that we're obedient, that we're lasting, or that we're doing something that lasts, that actually makes an impact and that makes a difference? And so I'm going to share some of that here in this video, and this is why we're going live. But I am excited because today yesterday was my son's 18th birthday, and today we did this thing where we went out and he loves to go thrifting. And so that's a very real thing. And so as my son and we were thrifting, we're out, I got excited because when I was in middle school through high school, I went through this phase where everything I wore was Army fatigue. And so I just loved the military, loved Army, was playing with G.I. Joes from a kid. And I would always go to the Goodwill Salvation Army and get field jackets, fatigue, and that was my wardrobe. But today I found a field jacket. And so I bought the field jacket, still have the tag on here. I have not taken off, haven't washed it, anything yet. So I'm excited about actually getting into my field jacket. But here's where we are. Here's what I've done. Here's what has happened in the past, I'm going to say 3 to 4 years of us working to be the elite, being the person of choice in a certain field. And so there is this belief, and I just have it, I'm holding on to it, of just being obsessive. And if we want to be great, I believe that we need to be obsessive in order to make ourselves be great, right? And here's what obsession looks like. It means that we are obsessed with learning, but we're also obsessed with learning what is required or what's asked of us by our ideal client, our elite client. And so here's what my goal is. My goal is to become a key person of influence. A lot of us hear KPI, we think of key performance indicator. Well, Daniel Priestley talks about this idea of becoming a key person of influence, the 5-step method to become one of the best, one of the most highly valued and highly paid people in your industry. So I have been following this blueprint. I've been following this framework. And so here in the book, I have dog-eared number of pages. I have highlighted lots of information, underlined, and I'm going back through this key person of influence, this KPI framework and method. But here's why I bring this up as I talk about becoming obsessive. Because there's so much information out there. There's so much stuff that we could have access to, and so many different methodologies or frameworks or systems that if we aren't careful, we can get stuck in this idea where who do I follow? How do I know what to do? How do I make sure that I'm following the right person? And so we're told to find a tribe and then go all in. So what I have done when I found Daniel Priestley, and the way I found it was by actually implementing the first strategy here, the first principle, and that is going to be the network strategically. So what I did was I found out who was doing what I'm doing and who they networked with. And so what I wanted to do then was, well, how do I network strategically? I found Daniel Priestley through one of the individuals that I'm connected with. And then when I found Daniel Priestley, I just became obsessive, whether it's his scorecard marketing, his oversubscribed, or the 24 assets framework. And so I'm just going to challenge you, if you're going after something, and this does not mean that it has to be Daniel Priestley, but find your tribe, find your leader, the one that you want to study and that you're going to become obsessive with. And then maybe that's going to open up some opportunities. It's going to help you think. You're going to at least be in alignment so that you can follow something through long enough so that you can actually see results. And then you can actually come through and say, all right, I know where my next step is, or I'm following this process or the system. So now I'm going to jump into the Affluent Negro 7 Principles for Minority Wealth Creation. And I'm not just jumping into the book. I'm like, how did I get here? Well, as Daniel Priestley talks about, one, you have to be a voice. And he talks about making sure that in the spoken word, you are representing yourself well, that then you also must be a thought leader. And so one of the thought leader pieces that I've learned very early on, and hopefully you have heard this, and if not, hopefully you will implement this into your life, your business, as you're looking to become that key person of influence. It is to get something in writing, whether it's an article, whether it's a white paper, or a blog, or you're going to be featured in some type of media. And so that's one of the things that I had to become intentional about. And so the reason I say that is I published a booklet a couple of years ago, and it is Be World Renowned: How to Kill Average. So one of my sayings is don't be average, be world renowned. Well, I was like, well, I want to be an author. I want to publish something. Now it was self-published. It was just something small here. Be World Renowned: How to Kill Average. And the thing about this, there are no page numbers, right? There's nothing but just a little bit of information. But this, and how this was well received, this gave me the confidence to go ahead, take some of the ideas and principles there and start moving to something bigger. And so that was encouraging. And I do want to say, if you want your copy of the Affluent Negroes, don't go to Amazon. You can go there, look at the rankings, look at the reviews. But I'm going to encourage you to go to theaffluentnegroes.com, theaffluentnegroes.com, pick up your copy of the book there. But the whole idea, the 7 principles: network strategically, educate yourself, generate wealth through entrepreneurship, reinforce resilience, own it all, and then excel everywhere and serve others. And so the reason I bring this up, one of the biggest conversations that I'm having on a regular, they're like, Neil, why would you, did you alienate yourself from a big part of the potential audience by calling it the Affluent Negroes? And my question is, which part might alienate myself? Where might I pigeonhole? They're like, you use the N word. And my response is, well, that's not the N word. That's not the worst word that I could say as an author, right? There are worse things to say. And this is where I come in. And it's all about the perspective of the person who is receiving or saying and their experience with the word. So my wife, she is Cuban American, right? So she's American, but her heritage is Cuban. So in Spanish, negro just means black. It's nothing more than a color. Right. So for what I've learned in my conversations with different audiences, and it's not meant to be a divisive word. It's meant to be an eye-opening word. It's not meant to be controversial. It is intended to be a word that encourages conversation. Right. So whatever your experience is with the word is going to impact the perspective in which you see, in which you receive, and how you encounter, and the conversations that you're looking to have. But tonight, I really want to look at this idea that Daniel Priestley has about becoming a key person of influence, and how my desire to become a key person of influence led to these two works. And so it wasn't that I wanted to be known as an author, that I wanted to write a book. It was, how do I shorten the gap from where I am to where I want to be? And so just studies show us, research shows us that if you can be a well-written, a well-received, a well-selling, a good-selling author, then it just cuts down the distance. And now people will say, hey, I believe that he, that she does have something, that they are and authority. And so that has been my goal since day one. But that is the entire idea of becoming a key person of influence, the 5-step method here. If you want a book that might guide you in what you're doing professionally, I'm going to encourage you to get the Key Person of Influence book, the KPI book by Daniel Priestley. Other than that, for tonight, I'm getting off. Part of me doing my YouTube live, my Facebook live, TikTok live is simply because I need the reps. I need the practice. And so that's what I'm doing here. So I am making sure that I do my part, that I'm consistent. I will tell you all that we have an ambitious goal. In 2026, we're looking to move 50,000 units independently outside of Amazon. And the reason being is not about the sales. It's not about the income. It's really all about the impact that we are looking to create, because we believe that if you can grab hold of these 7 principles, that your life, your future, the future of the generations, your kids, your loved ones will be positively impacted, that you'll look back and you will see yourself in a different and better light in a few months after applying these 7 principles. So I want to leave you all tonight. I'm going to go and do the extra work that's necessary in order to become a key person of influence, so that I can get my scorecard marketing right and be oversubscribed with 24 assets. I love you. God loves you. There's nothing you can do about it. Don't be average. Be world renowned. Peace.